Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I am so pumped you're here today because, well, we're looking at something that is literally fundamental to absolutely everything we build in tech. We're going to unpack the newly announced, incredibly comprehensive Learn Databases in Depth curriculum over on Free Code Camp. If you've ever felt like your database knowledge is kind of just memorizing queries without really getting what the engine underneath is doing, yeah, this explainer is totally for you. Building modern apps without deep database knowledge is basically like trying to build a high-performance sports car but slapping a lawnmower engine inside. So get ready. We're going to break down exactly what makes this curriculum so powerful and why it might just be the absolute most important thing you study this year.
Okay, let's dive into this. Bo Carnes, a fantastic teacher and developer with Free Code Camp, puts it pretty simply. Understanding databases is important for a software developer. I mean, it sounds like a massive understatement, right? But it is the absolute truth. It's the bedrock of software engineering. You can build the most beautiful front end in the world, but honestly, if your data storage is a mess, the whole application is going to eventually crumble. This quote completely validates the time and energy we all need to spend mastering this topic. It isn't just optional anymore, it's essential.
So, you might be wondering, who exactly is this massive curriculum built for? Well, it spans the entire spectrum of developers. Whether you're a budding data enthusiast just starting to write your very first SQL queries, or maybe you're a seasoned professional who really needs to refine your data system skills to handle millions of rows more efficiently, this curriculum has you covered. It's designed to act as your ultimate toolkit to solve really complex database management problems, regardless of where you happen to be in your coding journey. It literally scales right along with you.
Here is the roadmap for our explainer. We're going to take a top-down approach, basically peeling the onion from the outer client layer down to the core hardware. We'll look at why database architecture matters, go from client to execution, dive into storage and operating systems, check out advanced indexing and optimization, take a deep dive into SQL, and finally, look at how you can start your database journey. Let's get moving.
All right, kicking things off with why database architecture matters. We're moving well beyond just surface-level knowledge here.
So this comprehensive curriculum was developed by Kirti Poswani, and it brilliantly bridges that vital gap between textbook theory and real-world engineering challenges. You know, it's one thing to know how to write a basic select, insert, update, or delete statement. We've all been there. But it's an entirely different beast to actually understand how the database executes those commands behind the scenes. Moving beyond those basics is absolutely crucial for your confidence as a developer, because when you actually master the architecture, you stop randomly guessing why a query is slow, and you start engineering actual, scalable solutions.
Moving into our next section, from client to execution, we're starting our spatial journey right at the surface, peeling back the outer layers.
And this brilliantly illustrates the path data takes. Think of it as the front door to your database. Before data is ever permanently stored, it travels a very distinct route. We start at step 1, the client and network layer. This is where the database gets that initial interaction over the network. Then we move into the front-end components, the user-facing aspects that actually facilitate the connection. And finally, we travel down into step 3, the execution engine and transactions. This is where the magic really happens. It's where the database figures out exactly how to execute your query safely and manage concurrent transactions without corrupting your data. It's just a beautifully logical flow from the user's fingertips right down into the engine room.
Now we're diving deeper under the hood for storage and operating systems. Let's look at the inner engine.
A database doesn't just exist in a vacuum, right? It relies heavily on the underlying operating system to manage files, memory, and processing power. So to really understand performance, we have to look at the hardware. Think of RAM, your random access memory, as your physical disk space. It is lightning fast to access, but it's volatile and strictly limited in size. The hard disk, on the other hand, is kind of like the big filing cabinet in the next room. It's permanent, it's incredibly spacious, but comparatively, it's very slow. How a database intelligently pages data back and forth between that big filing cabinet and your desk directly impacts data retrieval speed. If you master this relationship, you can drastically speed up your applications.
Shifting gears to the optimization phase, advanced indexing and optimization. This is all about mastering data retrieval.
So once your database grows from thousands of rows to millions or even billions, simply finding the data becomes the ultimate bottleneck. This is exactly where foundational knowledge turns into absolute mastery. We're talking about advanced methods here, like multi-level indexing and B-trees. Think of a B-tree, or a balanced tree, as a highly organized filing system that allows the database to practically instantly find a specific row without pointlessly scanning every single piece of data. Mastering these complex indexing concepts, like understanding exactly how a multi-level index slashes search times, is literally the key to managing massive data systems efficiently. Honestly, it's what separates good developers from truly great ones.
Let's move to and see how this builds into our specific case study, a deep dive into SQLite. Time to zoom in on the micro level. Instead of keeping things entirely theoretical, the course brings it back to reality by using SQLite as a tangible, real-world case study. Now, while industry giants like MySQL and PostgreSQL are fantastic for broad comparisons, and the course does compare them, SQLite is incredibly unique. Its specific internal microarchitecture actually makes it the perfect candidate for a deep dive. It really grounds all those abstract concepts we've talked about into a widely used database system that you probably already interact with.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer depth of the curriculum. We aren't just talking about tables and columns anymore. We are looking at the exact microarchitecture of SQLite. You'll learn about the tokenizer, which takes your query and breaks it down into understandable, distinct chunks. Then there's the parser, making grammatical sense of those chunks. The bytecode generator translates all of that into literal machine instructions. And journaling, that's the piece that ensures your data miraculously survives a sudden system crash. It is hardcore, fascinating computer science applied directly to a tool you probably rely on every single day. And honestly, the best part? It isn't just theory. You gain actual hands-on experience with the code structure and debugging techniques, translating all that architectural theory into practical, day-to-day skills. By digging in at this micro level, you gain the practical ability to confidently create robust schemas and manage tables in your own projects. You are quite literally opening up the black box to see how the engine runs. Finally, we reach our last section, Start Your Database Journey. This is all about putting everything we've learned into practice. We've talked about the architecture, the indexing, and that awesome deep dive into SQLite. But to be truly successful out in the wild, you need the practical meta skills to put it all together. The course also covers essential project tools, like navigating GitHub specifically for complex database projects, learning how to effectively read and utilize dense technical documentation, and understanding how distribution components actually work. These supporting skills are exactly what empower you to take your core architectural knowledge and actually collaborate on real-world engineering teams. 4. That is the exact number of hours of watch time it takes on the FreeCodeCamp YouTube channel to consume this entire course. It is a highly detailed, massive commitment of 4 hours. So yeah, maybe skip Netflix for just one night, but think about the return on investment here. In just 4 focused hours, you bridge the gap from being a surface-level query writer to a developer who intimately understands bytecode generation, B-tree indexing, and OS-level memory management. It is a dense, incredibly valuable block of time.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought and question. Are you ready to tackle complex database challenges with confidence? The path to mastery is laid out right in front of you, from the outer client layer all the way down to the intricate microarchitecture of SQLite. It's time to stop guessing and start engineering. Head over to FreeCodeCamp, dive into the curriculum, and completely transform the way you interact with data. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.